Morning here, and welcome to the last final part of the arena perspective, part 8. Then I'm going to do some other ones when I ranked as a Death Knight class. I think Shaman is number 1, but the other ones are pretty good as well. I was going to do the ranking. So anyway, I've been up to 3 times trying to record this. I've been called twice during my first record. It's just crazy. Anyways, I have little time left here now. During my lunch break, so I want to do this thing a little faster than I usually am. I think 35 cards. So it's gonna be a pretty. Obviously, it's gonna be some bad cards as well of the last cards here. At the first card here, this Lifesteal Murloc, not much to have, right? It's in arena, it's useless. It's gonna die from everything. You can't trade up for anything. It's a bad card. In Construct, I can see it maybe in some kind of Murloc Warlock when you play the buffing, so the Mercer better, hits it for more life. Could have some uses. Probably not used in like the Shaman Murloc, so I don't think so. So pretty footer card. I shouldn't pick it. However, this card I think is pretty good. The Veteran card here is a 2/1, like the old Episode Sergeant, but she gives you a permanent 1 attack instead of 2 attack, which is just 1 turn versus target. So that is pretty good, and I would say it right. She can trade up better. Not that good though in arena still, because she needs to die in 100%. But I think she actually is very good in like some kind of aggressive decks, especially some Warlock, but also otherwise maybe some Paladin thing when you buff them. So kind of the Divine Shield. Yeah, I can see it being played in sheep decks for sure. With a lot of sheep minions. Seems quite good actually. And I think she is at least better than Sergeant in arena. You can buff something, you can trade maybe twice better and so on. But yeah, pretty decent card. Then we have this card, a very aggressive card, a Tiller, Verstiller here. It's very interesting, so it burns your opponent twice in attacks. It doesn't say you have to attack them in the face, so if I said it correctly, you can attack their 1/1 with it, 1/1, and you also do 2 extra damage to them, right? That's interesting, so you can buff it and like trade something else, still do damage to them. A little like the Legendary Hunter card. So, very good aggressive card, probably. Probably has to play Constructed. In Arena, though, it's completely useless. You have to remember in Arena that life total thing is almost always useless. Like, this doesn't really matter, right? If you use something that takes life from someone, it just, yeah, like whatever. Warlock has the highest need for it, so you just survive sometimes. So only class to play is Hunter. You can play Hunter, maybe something extremely aggressive, something else, but mainly Hunter, right? Otherwise, it's pretty useless. And then we have Doomerang. I was going to say Bonerang. But anyway, yeah. Doomerang, I think it's a great card. It's a very interesting card. So you pick your weapon and throw it and get it back to your hand. So you can replay it. I think it will be a better warrior card though, because it's a rogue specific card, and that means that when you play this card as rogue, you cannot get your buffs back. So if you buff with poison, you lose that. You have to actually use it on Assassin Dagger, the new dagger that gives you immunity, which is pretty good. This thing you can like put the immunity right, attack them, throw it, get it back to your hand, immune to the next turn again, so you can be immune for like more than 1 turn. It's a very good combo there. Yeah, I think it's a pretty good card. I think we'll see play Constructed. I think actually with Envenom is pretty good because you can hit something, then throw it, even if you get it back, you kill 2 things on the same turn, then that's great. For Arena though, it's pretty bad, right? You have to have a lot of weapons. But it's interesting. Then we have this called Drain Soul. It is a better version of the other Drain card. It costs 1 mana less. Can't go for face, but it doesn't really matter. You get more life with spell damage, like with the Priest card. A pretty decent card for Arena. I think it's quite fair. It's not as good as Darkbolt though, because you'd rather do 3 damage than getting little life back. I would say way much better in Arena. Also probably Constructed as well, but yeah, especially for Arena. So it's not as good, but it's uncommon and you will pick it a lot. I think it's just a decent card. It could see some interesting play, maybe Constructed with some spell damage and so on. And then you spell damage come here. So anyway, yeah, here she is. Yeah, good order here. So then we have this card, Tainted Zealot. It's I think it's actually a pretty good card. People are like, oh my god, this Blood Mage Tolerance but worse. But I think it's very good because obviously Blood Mage Tolerance is a legendary card. You only have 1 of them. So if you want to have sheep, spell that minion, she's probably the best you can have after Blood Mage Tolerance. And you can have 2 of these with and Tolerance. It sounds pretty good actually. So it's similar to Kobold, but she has Divine Shield, which means that she's very hard to remove, right? So I think it's a pretty good card actually. Obviously for Arena it is whatever, because you don't have many spells. But for the kind of mage specifically, but also some other few classes, but for mage, this could be very good actually. So I think this is a card that could see some play for sure. But you would rather have Talos as well. So then you probably have a deck with all of them, right? So you have Talos plus 2 of these. So you need, yeah, that's a lot. There's actually another minion coming here soon. It's also very interesting. Oh yeah, they have 4 souls. It's get 2 weapons to your hand. This is so bad in Arena. You need to have at least 2 weapons done right and draw this first. Like I always say that Arcanist is a pretty good card in Arena. 2-3 get a secret. But in Arena, I usually feel that I have at maximum 2 secrets in my deck. Usually like 1. I don't really well think very high in Arena. Generally, I mean, the meter is very good and so on, but generally, I kind of, you don't pick Ice Block and you sit with those cards, so you're gonna get that like 2, maybe 3 at best. So if you draw Arcanist, matters for me, I have a secret on my hand, and it's a no draw. So if you have 2 Arcanist, you usually don't get the second one. It don't give you a secret. That's very fair to say, like math-wise. The second one won't give you a secret. First one, yes, not second one. So this thing here, I would say that it probably gives you like 1 weapon in Arena with the same kind of stat. Well, it goes faster too, so no, it's high chance of getting 2, but yeah, it's just not that good. You need to get 2 weapons, you need to get the whole thing right. It's just not that good. Even for Constructed, it feels kind of slow. For Pirate Warrior, yes, you get your weapons, but you can't, the weapons don't stack, so you have to do some one-on-one. So maybe more with this covered, like you can throw away weapons. Yeah, I don't know, it feels kind of clunky. Because you get 2 things that you can't use right away, and have high durability. So you get 2 things, so you repeat it once, 2 turns, usually, and then the 2 turns. It's a very slow play. I have a hard time seeing it being used in any format, actually. And then I have this card, yeah, this is also Tusk of Fisherman. I think it's a pretty good card, at least for Arena. Actually, yeah, pretty good card in Arena. It's a 2-3 for 2, playable, and you get a minion with spell damage, potentially. You don't have to. That sometimes that can be a huge thing, right? But we saw the 1-1 minion. She can't really do much herself, even though she has a 1 shield. It's a kind of bad minion for 2 mana. But this is a 2-3 mana guy instead for 2. This is pretty fair though. And he might give spell damage for better consecration, better flame strike, whatever. So I think it's a pretty good card actually in Arena. Depends on what class you are. Like Priest has less value of spell damage, but so on. But yeah, I think actually play in Constructed, maybe in this spell damage, some kind of tempo mage. I don't think so, because you need another minion mainly. I'd rather play the 1-1 and Thanos, yeah. But yeah, pretty good Arena actually, I think. Well, yeah, then we have this card. Looks really good actually for Arena. Dark Conviction. It's basically it's Keeper of Uldum or Sunken Batarim, so you make a 3-3. Would you rather have Uldum? Yes, Uldum is insanely good in Arena. It's a 3-4, give them a 3-3. I mean, she can kill them herself. Yeah, so here you are. Actually, you can do that. So you can see how good Keeper Uldum was. Because she costed 4 mana and was a 3-4. That means you pay 2 mana to get a 3-4, right? That's really good. Like, compare this card with Keeper Uldum. That means that she is a 3-4 for 2 mana. Jesus Christ, she was imbalanced. It was an insanely good card. And this card, yeah, it's pretty good. Like, you can buff your small guy, kill something, maybe it survives, maybe it trades, or you can nerf the small guy. I think it's going to be a great card for Paladin. I mean, generally, Keeper Uldum was insanely good card. So this is like, yeah, okay, it's cheaper though. It's easy to use, but you probably rather have Uldum or something from that matter. But still, a great Arena card. In Constructed, maybe the whole Quest Paladin can use it. I guess this is like a target minion, like a buff. But yeah, like otherwise, yeah, it's a good card, of course. As with Uldum, it's a great card Constructed, probably as well. Not as good her though, so a little lower level there. But again, you can nerf something, you can buff something small thing. Definitely we see some play in some Baron decks. I think it's a great card. Oh yeah, then we have Toxic Arrow. People are hating this card, also people are defending it. I think it's a great card, guys. I think Toxic Arrow is a great card. First of all, I think it's good in both formats. So either you kill something cheap, right? You kill like a 2-drop, a 3-drop, and for 2 mana, that's pretty fair. Or, and people say, oh, it's a word. No, it's not a lot. Or, if it survives, it gets poisonous. That is great. It means you can hit your like medium size, your 3-3 something, and then you can kill a big guy. This gives you an option to either kill something small, or kill something big with help something. So it's Hunter's Mark, mix something else, right? I think it's very interesting. Use flexibility. It's an epic level though, so you probably have better cards in Arena for epic level. But still, it's a pretty good removal actually. I think it actually has huge flexibility and gives you can remove the big guys, yeah, you can hurt them. It's a great card. This is a really good card in Arena. But on epic level for a removal, it's like this or Meteor. Yeah, I'd rather take Meteor. It only costs 2 mana though, but yeah, so it's like, but But I think it was just playing in Constructed because it has the flexibility of killing, giving you the early tempo or removing a bigger later. So yeah, great card. Well, yeah, this card I also like is obviously used in the arena though, but I like the effect of this. Drakkari Enchanter, so it gives you the ability that triggers in a turn, triggers again, right? So for example, they showed the demon card. She gets another red on demon, they get 2 instead. I think it's very good with like the new priest card. It gives like 1+1 on a minion. That means you get like ++1/+2 minions, right? All those like plus something buff your. The new Naga that gives you a +3 or something. It's like +6, then a +3 divided. I don't know if it triggers. Yeah, so there's some interesting cards there. Mana Totem, you get 2 cards instead. It's a lot of really cool effects there. This could be a great card. It's high health or 5 health, so. Probably though a very like controlling deck, so you can play this guy out, get double effect, and you defend it by your removal spells. But in arena it's playable, but I think it's a very interesting card constructed. Then we have Vrygoul. This is pretty bad. Well, maybe that's just pretty good in arena actually, like decently good, because this is like the armor card, so you get your death effect during their turn, then you get the card right. It's pretty interesting because it's a 3/1 that they can of course just kill it as a mage, mainly as a mage or a rogue or druid. And if you do that, you do get a 2/2, so they can shoot it down. Or else trade it. But it actually fits pretty weak because likely they will ignore it, I think. Maybe kill it, so there's a 2/2. So let's say they ignore it, that means you have a 3/1 for 3, so you can kill something for like 2-3 mana. There's a lot of other 3 copies that can do that. So if it's like a 3/1 that they can't ping, but then it should cost 2 mana for being a 3/1. So it feels like it's 1 mana. Well, yeah, like it should cost 2 mana. I think it's actually pretty bad because it feels like you're playing a 3/1 drop at that's a 2 mana value card, and they can't target it. Kinda. It's like it has protection from spells, right, or hero abilities, so they won't target it. So basically, I think it will have the same effect as Vorgen Infiltrator. Yeah, the stealth Vorgen. He and Vrygoul will have pretty much the same effect on the board when you play it on turn 2 or turn 3. But Vorgen costs 1 mana less, so I would take a Vorgen in this card. I think it's a pretty bad card actually. The effect isn't that good. Yeah, a bad card. Oh yeah, Hylni Frost Rider. Yeah, obviously the Mubari Shaman thing. You freeze your minions, get clone of them. Feels like I don't know. It's I think it's only playable in Murabi, right? For Shaman. And no other class can use it. It's like a really shaman. This could have been a Shaman specific card. But sure, in arena, it's actually pretty good. You can just coin it turn 2. Yeah, I would say it's pretty good in a card. Like for real, because you can coin this card, and then you likely have an empty board. That's a 4/4 for 2, like a coin, so you get an advantage. So I actually think it's pretty good arena card. And then Murabi, I guess, Shaman freeze thing, I suppose. But yeah, coin this card is good, but you can't play it later. You can trade. Yeah, I think it still is a good arena card. Like not like a best arena card, but like a 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10. Like a little better than mediocre. Okay, Gnash. This is a crap card. This is a horrible card. It's just better bite, right? You 3/3 instead of 4/4. Is it better or worse though? I mean, both of them you're paying the exact same mana cost. So you're paying your exactly 3/3 for 3, 4 for 4. You're not paying like like some spells are like, okay, remove this because it costs 2 mana, but it does 3 damage. It costs 5 mana, but it does 7 damage, whatever. Right? This is exactly equal, both of them. So I guess they're equally bad or something. I guess an okay card in arena still though, because it's like a Frostbolt for 1 more mana, so it's not very good. But it is a removal card, so you can probably use it in arena. Use that alone. Oh my god, it's pretty bad. The druid is pretty bad. I mean, anyway, then we have on the druid card. We have the taunt buffer. This is probably really bad in arena. Even though maybe I was thinking about this morning. It's like this card might actually be playable in arena because there are a lot of taunt plus, right? Druid has got so many taunt minions, and it's like. Maybe you can get this thing and play it in even in arena, because you have a lot of new taunt minions and you play them out and taunt effects, and you can buff them as a huge buff. In constructed, if it shorts some play in this like new druid taunt deck, the question is that deck good or not? seems kind of mediocre to me, honestly. So yeah, we'll see if that, like, I already play Jade Druid, so we'll see if that works or not out. But if that deck is good, this card is a great card. Oh yeah, then this thing, Exploding Bloatbat. I think it's a pretty good card. So it's a consecration for hunters. It's not their face though, but yeah. That's a 2/1 for 4. It's a delayed consecration. You would rather play consecration though, so then you can reactively kill your minions. This can be killed by a mage. Actually isn't that good to think about it, because it's hard to proactively play it, because they can remove it so easily with the hero abilities, 3 of the classes. So you have to pretty much play it when you're behind, and then they can still like hit your face and let you trade next turn, and it's like, yeah, it's okay, I think, okay, but not very good. I think it's not that good. Okay, Arrogant Crusader. It's your opponent turn, summon a 2/2 gold. I think it's I love this effect, it's a great little effect. I wish more had face been by the secret thing, that was really cool. But yeah, it's like, this is exactly the same as the other one, the 3/1, but this has way better stats. It's exactly the same difference with the 2/2 gold. It feels way better than that 3/1 though. It has 2 more attack power, that's good. So you can kill like a Yeti or something for the same price. It doesn't die from the simple things, but it still feels like it should give a better go, like a 3/3 or something. They can just ignore it and you can kill their big minion. And then you much rather just play like a panda or something, a 5/4. You anyway will kill into the minions. I don't know if it's like, it's a weird thing because it's also very aggressive. So the effect of that would be that you face them, right? You trade with the big minion, and then you don't get the effect. So you might as well play like another 5/4 or 5/3 something. Does it feel very good for arena? In fact, like I said, being very aggressive paladin card though. You place it out, it's 5 attack for 4 mana, and they won't remove it, I guess. But it's kind of like, even at that point, if you just play a Yeti, you have a 4/5 instead. Yes, one less attack power, but it's just not that much better. So I think it's actually pretty bad as well. Yeah, it's not that good. Oh yeah, Avalanche. It's quite pretty cool. It's like a reverse meteor, reverse betrayal. Yeah, basically all the cards is like you want to have the big minions on the side. Here you want to have the small. You want them to have a shitty minion in the middle, right? So you can like freeze the other ones. Yeah, so you kill the other ones. So they want to have the important stuff on the side, or you can freeze the big stuff and kill the small stuff. It's a very interesting card. Gives a lot of flexibility as a shaman, or like it'd be hard to play around. Obviously it's a freeze, you get the Morab effect and so on, you get the icebreaker, you get the new shaman stuff. I think it's a pretty good card, yeah. Some 3 damage. It feels like it could be 4, maybe. I don't know, yeah. It's interesting. I think it's gonna be good in arena. You can kill stuff with it or free. Or use, in the worst case scenario, use freeze the biggest guy, don't kill anything, but you can survive for that. So yes, visibility. It's pretty good. For constructed, I think it's the same thing as the taunt minion. Is the shaman freeze good enough, right? Then you might play it. Unfortunately, the new like elemental isn't freeze specific. Anyway, yeah, Grave Shambler. I'm thinking about this card because it's a 4/4/4. I think it's actually pretty good, actually. Even in arena, it's pretty good because, especially if you are a rogue. This card is a 5/5 for 4, I would argue, if you have a warrior or something, or like weapon-oriented class. Because obviously, you play it out when you will destroy your weapon, so you will make it a 5/5 extremely easily. Extremely easily, it's a 5/5 for 4. But it's very fair to say. Especially if you're a rogue, then even in arena, this is a 5/5 for 4, right? It's a very good card, actually, I think, for rogue. And every time you hit them, you get more. So it feels like a better than Yeti card for arena, for rogue at least. And other classes, yeah, okay, you wanted the weapons, but then it's a 4/4 for 4. That's not too shabby. And sometimes if you have, like, let's say you have 2 weapons in your deck, in your paladin, you might get it outright. So either it's like a 4/4, it's okay, or you maybe get 5/5 for 4 at like maybe every third game, depending on how many weapons you have. Yeah, so that feels pretty good, actually. So I think it's a fair card, interesting card, uncommon card. I would pick it sometimes. Well, yeah, this is not an enraged minion, right? It's one life less than the Mana Berserker. Or is he a Gurubashi? Or whatever, the Berserker, the 3/5 Berserker. And it gets +2 exactly as he does, but it can do it more than once, right? So you can heal it up or you can enrage it. It's okay card. Not for arena though, it has too little life, they need to die, 3/4. Maybe so you can survive. If it's like in arena, it will at best survive once and turn into like a 5/1 then. Yeah, for arena that's good enough. Constructed, it's a weird card though, because constructed it's obviously only playable in warrior pretty much. Like it's a neutral card, but it's very, very warrior. You can play it in mage maybe, yeah, like where's gonna play this card? Maybe you can buff it, I guess, but if it's pretty weak, even for the war, I think it's pretty weak. There are bad effects. Well, yeah, Green Necromancer, I think it's a good card. It's not very special, it's just better than the Mechanal, the Gnoomish Inventor, is the name right. So it's a 2-1. This is 1/2, 1 monster. It's a little better than a 2-1. It's hard to remove them. Facing a mage, you can shoot one of them, the other survives. She has the same stats, 2 for 2. It's very, very comparable. I think this is slightly better. So if that 2/4 is a Gnoomish, it's worth like a 6 out of 10 card. That's a very good card. I guess it's like 6.5 or something. Slightly better, but an okay arena card. I think it's fair to say, yeah, it's an okay card. And probably never playable links like that. Well, yeah, this is actually very interesting. Wicked Skeleton. Definitely cool in Sudox on different similar decks. With a lot of small guys, maybe Paladin, Hunter perhaps. Yeah, so you play it out and it gets 1/1 for each minion that died this turn. In Magic, you see a lot of cards with similar effects, but then usually it's like XX number of minions in your graveyard. Then it's more like look at the graveyard and different type of minions or number of minions or lands or whatever, and then it gets that stat. So it's a very physical, a lot of magic effect to it. I think it's a good card, I think, in a lot of those high small minion things. In arena though, I think it's fair to say in arena that it's pretty easy to make it to a 3/3. So give it like +2. That is probably pretty easy. But more than that, it is not very easy to do. And even if you do that, so you get a +3, that's a 4/4 for 4. And compare that to the guy that is a 4/4 at minimum, and maybe it's 5/5. This is way worse, right? And then make it a 5/5, yeah. So I think it actually is pretty bad in arena. I think it's fair to say that it's like 3/3, around a 3/3 in arena. It's obviously it's a 2/2, but it's like, yeah, it's not good enough. Trade minion. It feels like it's best. It's gonna be a 4/4. Yeah, it takes a lot of time to make the 5/5. You have to have like a full board. You have to have a full board. You have to trade everything, and then you get like a 10/10. But that is hard. You rather just play like a frozen Frostwolf. If you have a big board yourself, is that easier? It is, I mean, for both sides, right? So if you play something like a removal spell and all your minions kill all their minions, this can be really used. Maybe it would be decent. But that being said, though, you pretty much need to play an aggressive small minion deck even in arena. It's not hard, we don't need to do. So yeah, I think it's gonna be bad in arena for most decks, even for Warlock and so on. It's gonna be pretty bad. Neon Banshee, it's just like, I don't know. It's a little better, 5/4, and you mill yourself, and there is no threshold. There's no like a magic. You have the deck. It's like if you have this many cards in your library, in your discard pile, or like you can resurrect cards from your discard pile and so on. Hearthstone doesn't have that. Yu-Gi-Oh! I used to compete a lot in right, and Yu-Gi-Oh! You have a lot of this great effect. Like throw your whole deck in the graveyard. It's like I can resurrect dragons, and I can play this and this and this. Yeah, from the graveyard or from the remove of play or something. You can play them in from the removing zone, and crazy stuff happening. Hearthstone doesn't have that, so this is like a little better stat than Yeti. Obviously, you can give that to them. Yeah, it just feels like a really bad card. Give it to them with treasure. I don't know. It's just with treason. This is really bad. Yeah, Backpack Punisher, very interesting card because lifesteal minion, obviously, when you buff them, it's they get a lot of like more life. His stats are horrible though. 3/3 for 5 or 4. That's bad. And you need to have lifesteal in your hands. You rather play a lifesteal deck, paladin or priest or something. It just seems pretty bad. It's very clunky too. And most lifesteal minions aren't that good. Don't have like that good effects. So because it's better if you have lifesteal. Well, it's obviously the best thing with the paladin legendary. It's a 4/4 then with divine shield and lifesteal. That's really good. So it's kind of like I don't think you'll see much play. Maybe some lifesteal in arena is horrible. This card however is pretty good, right? It's a 4 for 5 with lifesteal. It's an okay card. I think I'd rather have like a 5/6 though in arena. You constructed it might see some play actually. You can kill something, heal you up. I think lifesteal could be a very strong mechanic against aggro decks particularly. and this card might be played. It's a beast, you can buff it at Hunter. Yeah, like Mirror's Hunter, yeah. I think it's an okay card in Arena, an okay card. This card though is like Maxina with a little less life of 5 mana. I think it's just decent. 2/5. You can survive one trade, but usually you go for the big minion anyway. So you probably use rather play the 3/3 with stealth. It hides you away, and then you can kill the like 7/7, 8 whatever with that. And you can clone. I love to like clone that card with different effects of that. You get another 1/1 with stealth, so it's probably pretty bad. This card I actually think is really interesting. Skelemancer. It's a 2/2 with 5. It's a very interesting card. And you get an 8/8 when it dies. This is very interesting. Or 2 like 5/2, you get 2 horrible cards. This thing is really cool. They will never kill this minion. They will never kill it. So what it means is that if you play an constructed, this is probably like, oh, I play this card, and they will hit you for 2 every turn. If you're a hunter in Arena, this card is freaking fantastic, because you will hit them in their face every time with this card, and there's no way they're gonna kill this card, right? Because they almost taunt minion and concentrate. But if they have not the taunt minions, they will let it hit you in the face every turn, because they will never kill this stuff. So it's very interesting. It's like dealing 2. This is like deal 2 damage, start this ass to have them taunt. You will use deal damage with them. Very, very interesting. Very cool card. I love this silence card. Skelemancer is uncommon. I would definitely try it out. I think particularly for Hunter, it looks really good. Also, you can buff it as well, right? So Paladin, like buffing it with Sparked Steel, that's very cool as well. Oh yeah, it's very weak against Hearthstone and Polymorph, but still, I think it's a very cool card. In Constructed though, I don't know. Again, Hunter, yeah, like you play an aggressive deck, and they don't want to kill it, so you can just keep punching them in the face with it, probably. Death Revenant. Enrage, the new Death, what is the Enrage? It's 3/3 for 5. You probably can make it at least. But it's actually, yeah, it's pretty good actually. I didn't think about it. It's that. It's both sides, not to your side. So, oh yeah, this is a good card. This is easily a 5/5. You can easily get at least a trade in there, not kill yourself, get a 5/5 for 5. That's good enough in Arena. So even in Arena, this should easily be a 5/5 for 5. And then you can of course buff it or whatever. Maybe you can get more. So it feels like, yeah, it feels like a good card in Arena. In Constructed, it might be really good with the whole Berserker, the whole shenanigan. But I think it's fair to say it's a 5/5 for 5, and then you can maybe make it like a 7 or something. So yeah, I think it's a pretty good card for Warrior. Should be good. Bone Baron. It's quite a simple card. You 5/5 for 5, but you also get the one wants to play. But you have to play them though. It makes your combo easier. It has some value. I think it's a decent card in Arena. It has some value, right? It's a decent stats for 5 mana. You get to better combos maybe. You get some more cards. It's okay, but just okay. Probably a horrible effect, not too slow. But you get some combos. But I don't think it's good enough. And then you have Spectral Pillager, which is the interesting combo card. Then she does more damage if you have a better combo string, right? So if you combo like 5 cards, play right, she does 5 damage, like a really big Blaze Color. She looks horrible in Arena. Really, really horrible in Arena. It's so hard to do more than like 2 cards, because she's got 6 mana. This is like a 5/5 that at best will do 2 damage. So this is a really bad epic card for Rogue. I would say really bad. There's so many. Rogue has a couple of really bad epic cards. This is one of them, but near cards are way better. This is really, really hard to play. In Constructed, she might be good because you can do some backstabbing and yada, get like 4 damage. She might be pretty good, but in Arena she's really bad. Actually, don't pick this card in Arena. This would be horrible hard to play her with more effects than that. Spell Weaver, it's just like a bigger Cabal Geomancer, 4 for 6, 2 damage. It is really bad. Moonkin was 4 for 4, right? Same stats, but you get both for 2. They have 2 less mana, which means you could like swipe with 4 mana, so 8. Yeah, that was much better. This looks pretty bad. This just looks bad. This card is very interesting. Furnace Fire Colossus. It's an interesting card. I think it's definitely playable in Arena. It's a 6 for 6, so the stats are there. You can play it, and you will discard your weapons in your hand. That, however, though, isn't very good in Arena, because weapons are really good in Arena. But yeah, like if you discard like your Fire Warx, it's a 9/8, right, for 6 mana. Gives a lot of temp. I think it's a good card in Arena actually, because even without the effect, it's just like a decent minion. And you get the effect in that might really ruin it for your weapons. But also you can give you a huge bomb minion really early if you coin it at turn 5, have a good weapon in your hand, or if you have more weapons in your hand, it's ridiculously big. It's very interesting, yeah, it's a very interesting card, combo that with the new warrior, like get weapons and so on. Very, very interesting. I like this card. It's pretty cool. And he's a really, really big guy too, so he can die from everything anyway. So it's like, it would never be too imbalanced. This can be like a 10-10, right, or 15-15, but you can still kill it with like a hex. So it would never be this huge game card anyway. So very interesting card. So anyway, next card, Snow for a Giant. I think I'm very disappointed this card isn't each minion you froze. I think it should be just Snow. If we team up with the freezing shaman thing, yeah, this for me should be each froze the minion this turn, make cost one less. Anyway, it's 11 minions. Yogg Saron can't really evolve into it for that matter. People have talked about that. I don't really care about that bonus, but yeah, it's probably not that hard to play actually, I feel, in Arena, because you do get Earth Elemental a lot. It's very good in Arena. You have the new Drakkari, I'm trying it out. Lightning Bolt is good. Like most Overlord spells are very good in Arena. Frozen Wolves, everything is pretty good in Arena. So you can probably get it down to at least like 4 or 5 cheaper, but I would say average probably 4 at least. And that means it costs 7. So I think actually it's pretty good in Arena, to be honest. You have to have the card, of course. You can't like pick it the first pick, but that's like a 20 pick or later. You probably can see enough if you have enough Overload. And then it should be actually decent enough to play. In Construct, I think actually visit and play, because you definitely can play a lot of Overload decks and work around with that, right? So for sure it's can play, like a very late game play. But I wish it was Frozen. Maybe make Snow Fury guy would make much more sense, right? Well, yeah, then we have Orphus, and we also have, of course, the Lich King as the next card, right? We can look at right there, the Lich King. And I also say at the Death Knight in World of Warcraft, I'm like, finally. So anyway, Orphus here and the Lich King, so they both have the same effect. Well, Lich King, Orphus does, when Orphus dies, you get this Lich King card. And I can show you right away here. You get this Lich King, the Death Knight card, basically. Let's see, here we have them, and we also have these guys. So when Orphus dies, you do get one of these at random, so 1 on 8. And with Lich King then, which is even better, you get 1 card each turn, right? So if you have the new Drakkari card, you get 2 of these cards right away. So Lich King is very, very good in Arena. I think it looks insanely good. It's an 8/8 for 8, that's great. It's great stats. Taunt, why not? It's Ironbark, yeah, like why not? That's great. And you also get 1 more card. He's at least gonna give you 1 extra card in Arena. So he's at minimum +1 card, like Yushara, but let's like keep giving you cards. And I would argue say that are better than Yushara in Arena. So they are pretty nasty. Yeah, they're pretty nasty. So anyway, the first card you can see up over me here is just like a new E, right? You do 3 damage to everything, and this is actually better than damage. Yeah, it costs 3 mana, but Yushara is like you kill everything except her, right? This is like kill their side. This is like a sheep, Hellfire, but yeah, whatever. Really good. The next card here actually is insane. Almost Dead classic, that nice spell that you always did before you every raid, every boss. It summons, you remove 5 cards from your deck, and every minion is played. It's insanely good in Arena, because in Arena you have so many minions, right? You have so few spells, you have so many minions. In Constructed, I think this can definitely still play, right? It's a very interesting card, very cool card. But in Constructed you have like a lot of spells, a lot of good removals, blah, blah, blah. In Arena you have just like, you have the removals you get, and then you have just a bunch of minions. So you play Almost Dead, you get like 4 or 5 probably. You get like probably at least 3 minions in Arena. So that sounds really, that's probably the best you can get. And that sounds insane. It's gonna just completely cover your board right away. So if you get that card, you probably won the game right away. Very, very good. Much better than the Yushara effects. I think it's definitely the most Yushara. Death Keep Forever though, that's probably the worst card to get in Arena. You just get a card from the deck at random. However though, in Constructed could be the best card to get. So in Constructed, you get their card, you get it. It's not copy, you get it card. It can be huge in Constructed, so it makes that it's very interesting, but doesn't really care for, you know, yeah, whatever for Arena. And last here is like a Doom Pact, you just kill everything, cost some life, doesn't feel. It's like, yeah, it's better than Twisting Nether, because you can play something afterwards. But you kill Lich King, so that's probably not that good, but I think it's probably still pretty fair in Arena. And then we have another 4 cards. So Frostborn, very, very good. You can kill 3 minions with it, and then you resurrect them. Very, very interesting. Probably will die though, maybe in Arena, something to do with. But that's very interesting still though. There's a lot of minions. And actually you can kill like 1 minion, then 2 in your face if you have low life, and then it still spawn, right? So shoot weapon dies. It's very, very good. Death Coil, classic Death Knight spell. You either heal something yourself or you deal. That's 5 damage for 2 mana. Very, very good. And you can always reface. Obliterate is kind of like, yeah, you kill a minion, because you have life points. Pretty good. And of course, the last thing is this ++2/2 again. I like the lore, the immune to spells to get ++2. So I think everything is very, very good here for sure. But the Almost Death Arena is insane. So anyway, last then, very quickly here, we go to the Death Knight cards. So Garrosh gets Shadowmourne, hits adjacent minions, like the Reaver card. Pretty fair. It's 8 mana, you start killing them, 3 durability, seems pretty good. And his ability is just Whirlwind. I think it's very straightforward, right? He's the Rage Trigger. That's what I was saying pretty much all the time. I was saying it's gonna be Rage Trigger, yeah. He said Rage Triggers. If you play the Death Knight Warrior, you can keep enraging stuff, right? You keep your Garrosh, the new cards and so on, right? So pretty good. Not very, I would say, like surprising, though. Very predictable. The weapon is... I would say the weapon is better than Death Knight for Paladin. Because it's a little weaker, but you can AoE stuff down with it. No lifesteal, but Warrior has the armor plus earlier. So you probably, if you play Control Warrior, play this card, you have the armor. It's pretty good. In Arena, it looks very good. I mean, this thing is pretty good actually. You just keep removing stuff. Yeah, should be good. Not the best though. However, this guy is pretty good. Blood Reaver Gul'dan, even in Arena, is pretty good. You summon every demon that died. And you do have a few demons in Arena. You always get a few like random Infernal, so on. This is huge for Arena, right? It's 10 mana though, but you're like, oh, I resurrect half my... You know, you're gonna resurrect 3 for me easily. It's a very good play. And its ability is very, very strong. It's just the life tap. So you do 3 damage and you get 3 life back, right? So it's much better than the Druid. It's like 3+ anti-armor. We have to pick. So yeah, Druid is either do 3 or get 3. This is just do both. This is like double effect that the Druid has. Except the Druid has the legendary route. Yeah, but otherwise it's like, yeah. So this is a very, very good card. Will he play Extracted? I think so. I think he will, because obviously you play a kind of demon control deck. You play the new demon that deals like 2 damage to everything. You have 2 dose. If they die, summon this guy, there's 2 damage to everything together. Like, that's great. And you just that alone, right? If you summon this guy and you resurrect those 2 new demons on the same time, that means you have a 2 AoE. So when you play this guy, you also get Consecration automatically every turn. But that's how you play him. So it actually can save you from dying and so on. And you can resurrect your, like, you know, your Taunt minion, your Felkari, Lucari Fellhound and so on. So he looks really good actually. But it's a 10 mana cost though, so it's like, yeah, I played that. But I think actually very good in Arena as well, because you do play a lot of demons in Arena. You have at least like 5 to 10 demons. I would say Flame is great, right? Some of the discard effects of Doomguard is really good. Either the discards, some other Infernals. Yeah, like both. The one Infernal is insanely good, the Hellfire Infernal. The other one is pretty decent, 666 for 6 and some damage. So you usually have those things, the demon that spawns demons, yeah. So generally, seems to be one of the stronger actually Death Knight cards. Anyway, this is for the last part. I hope you enjoyed this. I'm gonna look at my tomorrow I will do another video where talking about where I use rank Death Knights, and then maybe then I'm gonna do some top 10 list about like my top favorite cards coming in for Arena and so on. So anyways, hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you guys